The idea that it takes enormous personal sacrifice to reduce your environmental impact is ludicrous. While the problem of human-induced climate change is a massive problem, it is perfectly possible to severely slash your energy use while still leading a normal life. In fact, you can lead a far better life. It was a mistake for early environmental leaders to call upon people to make sacrifices to reduce their environmental impact. Instead, these leaders should have emphasized the many benefits that can be gained from adopting a green lifestyle. So, for instance, eating less meat, eating more vegetables, not only is it more beneficial to the environment, it's also more beneficial to your health. We know that eating red meat leads to heart disease. We know that eating vegetables helps clear arteries, which counteracts heart disease. And when it comes to the environment, eating meat puts way more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere than eating vegetables, because it takes so many resources to raise all these animals that we then just kill. And it's a very limited, sort of one-time source. You raise this animal, it takes years and years, and you just kill it instead of using it for dairy, using it for other purposes, whatever. Additionally, the difference between beef and chicken. Not only is beef worse for you than chicken, beef is way worse for the environment. It emits something like 16 times more carbon, the production of it, than does chicken. And then, of course, there's seafood. And while seafood is better for you in a lot of ways, we also don't know a lot about our oceans. Scientists say that we know more about space than we do our oceans, and that's true. We really don't know how it all works. So you got to be careful when you eat seafood. Eat it in limited amounts. That's what I would say. And of course, this is very easy. People have these ideas that they can't change, and that's just ridiculous. You have to ask yourself, what is more important, the quality of the food or the specific ingredients and what is more important, the type of food, right? Meat or vegetables or whatever, or the quality of the cooking, the quality of the ingredients. You get what I'm saying? It's more important, in terms of taste, the what you eat and what you cook is well cooked, instead of being, it's just meat is tastes better than vegetables, and just dismissing vegetables. That's ridiculous. And you can still eat meat. I mean, meat is good for you. Certain kinds of meat, emphasizing, of course, chicken, and but just eat a little bit of it. Don't eat a ridiculous amount. And now we come to biking instead of driving. Biking is very good for the environment. It's also very good for yourself. We know that exercise leads to weight loss, reduced risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, some cancers, and of course there's a myriad of environmental benefits. It helps, biking instead of driving reduces your carbon footprint. Given that the transportation sector in our economy accounts for almost 30% of our carbon emissions, biking would take a big chunk out of that. Very helpful for the environment. And now, of course, here we come to one of the many problems with living a green lifestyle. Life gets in the way, and many people don't live close to where they work, so they can't really bike, or they have to take a highway to get to work, and they can't bike on a highway. It's very dangerous. I understand that. And of course, the reason for that is that's not your fault. It's poor urban planning. Much of the U.S. was not planned. We didn't think about long-term consequences, and we just, suburban sprawl became widespread. But you really should do as much as you can to, try and live close to where you work, so you're able to bike there. And this is all very easy. Bicycling to work is incredibly easy. We're supposed to get exercise anyway. We're supposed to get something like, an hour and a half of exercise a week. That's approximately what is recommended. And a lot of people don't have time to go to the gym. So why not exercise when you go to work? It saves time. It's good for you. Now, of course, in some circumstances, I understand again that people live far away. And that's understandable. That's very understandable. And thirdly, when it comes to, environment and health benefits, is buying less prepackaged goods. While prepackaged goods are not really bad for your health, Um, I personally believe they're bad for your psyche. They're bad for just your mental health. People spend all this money buying all these frivolous things, and going to the store and buying coffee every day, and it's a little ridiculous when you think about it. It's unnecessary. It's a waste of money. That money could be better spent being given to charity. It could be better spent saving for your college, saving for a trip to Europe. Of course, there is a lot of gasoline and plane fuel used to get you there, but that's a whole other issue. That money can be better spent on other things instead of buying coffee every day, or buying all of your food prepackaged, going to the store and just consuming constantly, microwavable dinners, for instance. And the environmental benefits of using less prepackaged goods means, of course, less waste, which means smaller landfills, less energy used, less recycling. Reducing is far more important than recycling, and less plastic in the ocean. All of these prepackaged things that we buy, packaging, doesn't always get thrown away. Doesn't always end up in the landfill. Plastics are filling up our oceans, and they're breaking up into tiny little pieces. And small organisms, are eating them, and eventually the plastic gets built up into the ecosystem. And we really don't know what that could do. The amount of plastic in our oceans is scary. I mean, in the Pacific, there's a huge area of waste of plastic the size of Texas. All the stuff gets carried there, due to ocean currents. Yeah, and so going back to something I said about just a minute ago about prepackaged items. I think the key here is to ask yourself, what do I really need? What is life about? I think life is about being observant. It's about paying attention. It's about focusing. It's about thinking about your actions and learning, and being healthy, eating well, not wasting resources. These are all things that you have to be observant to do. And I think in the end, the people that do are the most successful, and they're the happiest. And when you're observant, and when you're happy, and when you're healthy, you feel good about yourself, and you feel more comfortable around people. It's easier to make friends when you feel like, your life is successful. And to me, all of this is related. It's all one big equation. And I think that if people were to think about what they do, especially with, of course, as the speech is about health and the environment, I think that our country, our culture, our world would be much better off.